Full body stretch out. Bring your feet, come to a stance, little side edges of your big toes touching, space between the heels. Lift and breathe. As you go to raise your arms up, actively turn your palms up, draw the shoulders down, squeeze your belly into your body so that you're not arching your back right out of the gate, right? Now, slide the ribs down. Why does it have to be so particular? And as you raise the arms, try to pull your hands back without letting the hips draw forward. And then can you squeeze your shoulder blades down? Keep turning your thumbs back like someone's pulling your thumb and raise up and release. And as we come down, we're going to hip hinge. So if you're staring at the screen like this, go ahead and lower your gaze, stare at your toes, let the arms release, and you're just going to take this bent over hang, say hello to your hamstrings and your low back. Try not to look at the screen right now, okay? Keep letting the top of your head hang towards the floor. You're staring at your knees. You possibly are staring through your legs. If you're still looking at your feet, then your head and the neck space is crimped. So you want to let the top of the head hang towards the floor. And then I'm going to have you bend your legs. Bend your legs to the point where you feel your tummy push down into the thighs. Tuck your chin, slow rounding spine up. Maybe you have to put your hands on your thighs to help support your weight so that you don't feel like your back is doing too much work. Ready? Movement number 2. We normally do this little upper body twist with the rotation and the swivel of the legs. But right now, just want you to get your arms going, okay? We are going to go back and repeat movement number 1. We are going to do movement 1, movement 2, and number 3, which we haven't yet gotten to, right, in a little bit of a sequence. So give me 5 more of these little rotations. Hopefully you're starting to figure out that you want the palm of your front hand to touch the hip, and you want the back of the hand on the reverse sweeping arm to be touching the opposite hip. Right, and now relax without feeling like you're being too aggressive to your body. You're starting your little bit of a bounce, right? And as you bounce, I want you to imagine that you're like not only a bobblehead doll a little bit, but you're like one of these little floating air-driven advertisements. I know that sounds funny, but I don't know how else to express it. One of those little things that you see on the curb that, right, with the air blows up, the figure kind of just is all over the place. I want you to bounce. I'm going to turn to the side, right, because that will show you a lot. So I want you to feel your body kind of have some forward. It's like you're almost trying to do a body wave, but before you lose your balance and step out of it, you pull back, right? So you're kind of coming back a little bit, coming forward. You could even do to the side. There's no wrong. The wrong would be if it didn't feel good to your body. As you look back down and check in with your feet, the side edges of your big toes should be touching and there should be a space through the heels. Now, bounce a little bit faster, right? And the reason why your body's going to have this like freedom to it is each bounce is not exactly the same as the bounce before. So sometimes you're going to find that if you're a little bit more like explosive off the floor, your body's adapting to this extra sensory pressure. And release. You should feel your life force starting to course through your body. Phase 1, turn your hands away from you, shoulders down, squeeze your buns, check back in with your feet to make sure that the heels haven't closed in on the space. push the arms away from you as you raise them up. And for me, I start getting an immediate stretch through the bicep because my arm is fully extended at my elbow. And in a moment, I will take my jacket off, right? But because I'm starting to warm up. So the arms start coming up. And now, before you get them all the way up, I want you to squeeze your buns, slide your ribs down and flex your abs because you're doing a pelvic tilt and rib anchoring. Arms go up, the thumbs are turning back, raise, 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 raise. Try not to sweep the hips, keep your buns tight, turning the thumbs back like someone's pulling on them, and release the arms. Do you remember movement number 2? You are just getting your system primed. Priming your body comes in lots of different fashions, right? Like, I never even associated priming my body. I love the word priming. Prime, it means something. Beginning, first, right? What do we start with? It doesn't always have to be the same thing. It doesn't even have to be done the same way, as you guys have come to know with me. You're going to do about 5 more of these. I love to have lots of variety, and I'd like to be able to do things in such a varied way. Release and relax and shake. I was talking with a client, an attendee to my Tuesday morning class, who I only just recently found out was a chiropractor. It's never come up in conversation. And anyway, but we have a shared client. And I did not know this. He started as a client, and then I didn't realize that he had also started seeing this chiropractor who comes to my class. So they both show up at class, and I thought the client was talking about some other person, even though it was the same name as the guy who shows up in class. And he's like, well, you know, that's the chiropractor. And I was like, no, I actually didn't know that. Anyway, and the chiropractor is like, yeah, he's like, I just love to know that my people are coming and following through with things with you, because the things that you do actually help me work with them. It's amazing, right? So we get to do lots of different things. You're just shaking, and I hope that you're actually going, you want to shake a little bit harder now, right? Shake, 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 shake. Oh, there's one more thing we're going to add into this. Relax. Into your forward fold. Actually, 2 more things, right? So we broke sequence. It's okay. Forward fold. That's my fault. Stop looking at the screen, because we want the neck to release. Look down. Let your arms hang. If you can't get your hands to touch the floor, your feet, your shins, your knees, your hands should find some place to anchor onto your body. So if your hands are anchoring onto your thighs, good. Just don't push them into the knees. If you can get your fingers to touch down on the shins, great. If your hands can go all the way to the ankles, even better. If you can get your backs of the knuckles to touch the floor, even better. Relax the top of your head so that it is hanging towards the floor. Keep your eyes open so you don't get dizzy. And now, bend the legs, squishing your abdomen down against the thighs. Tuck the chin. Feel yourself round your spine, and if you need help, then put your hands on your thighs and use your arms to offload some of the pressure to your back, and you're coming up. The next component is our little pat. Pat those legs. I make fist close, right? So here we go. Big edge, right? Side edge of the big toes touching, a little space through the heels. You get to relax your back. You're coming down your thighs, come down to the sides of those anterior tibs, come around the back side, go down, feet around the back of the knee pit. Come back up to the front. And at this junction here, open it up a little bit. Come back down. Work from the front, around the side, go down the anterior tib, come up the back side of the calf, hit the knee pit, come back around the front of the thigh, and now the belly. Take your hands. It doesn't matter if you go clockwise or counterclockwise. I just want your hands to rub the belly. It's weird, right? So you guys know lymphatic stimulation happens in lots of ways. Relax the arms, lift and breathe. I've given you so much to think about already. Before your arms get all the way up, turn your head, look at your arm. What position is your thumb in? Because the hand should be palm up, palms up, with the thumbs pointing back. And before we get too high, you're going to squeeze your buns, draw the ribs down, because that's all part of your shoulder blade anchoring. Ribs, shoulder blades, belly to spine, buns tight, legs nice and strong. The fingers, the thumbs, as if someone's got your thumbs. They're twisting the arm and pulling your thumbs behind you. Now I'm going to turn to the side because my arms are not actually behind me. They're just in line with my ears. Pushing fingertips up, thumbs turning back, belly to spine, ribs down, and then release the arms. And now open your stance. Here we go. It's time for your body to go, yay, I get to do a little bit more. So incorporate the swivel. If you have any pain or glitching in your shoulders, then just lessen what the arms are doing. But this should be freeing. Right? Elbows get to just soften so that the lower arm comes around. 5, 4, 3, 2. Bring your legs back to their closed position. Side edges of the toes touching, back to bounce. Soften the knees. All right. Whether you stay put or you sway, whether it's forward and back or side to side, I don't want you to force the position. I just want you to embrace the unstable position that your body's in, right? Okay. Now, get a little bit more aggressive. Here we go. You might be pulling your belly in. Can you shake and let your belly just relax? It's so weird to not retract in, but right now we're letting that system hit a reset. Okay, stop the bounce, soften your knees. Right, look, check back in with your feet. So two things are going to happen. We're going to forward fold, let the arms hang, top of the head hangs to the floor. Bend your legs, get your thighs, right, and the torso pressed down into each other. Drop the hips a little bit, start rounding your spine, pull yourself up, belly to spine as soon as you can, and then into patty cake. All right, through the fronts of the thighs, come around the side, down the anterior tib, work around the back side of the calves, hit the knee pits, come up back around to the front. Down you go, down the front thigh, come around the outside of the lower limb, come around the back side of the leg, hit the knee pits, come back up, and now hit right into that hip joint. Rub the belly. You get to feel the belly just release. So ready? While we stand here, I want you to actively allow the belly muscles to stop flexing. All right, so we're going to take a deep breath. You're just going to keep rubbing. And hopefully with your deep breath, you can actually feel the belly distend, right? And then when you go to exhale, don't draw it in, which is really hard. Ready? Inhale, exhale, relax. What if what we just did promoted in your body that you need to go to the bathroom? Maybe you do. Release and relax. Never, if you can help it, never shut that sense off. When your body tells you go, don't wait, because that might be the only opportunity you get in a unstressed position to have your bowel movement. I can't believe how many people I work with. Foam roller, doesn't matter if it's the big one or not. We're going to do upper, middle, back, thoracic, spine pop. Over the years with clients, we get to share a lot of information that wouldn't ordinarily come up in casual conversation with people. But there are things that I need to know about people's bodies. Your body's ability to be regulated, right, is really important and part of your overall well-being to your system. Elimination, such a interesting topic. Now, start the foam at the tops of the shoulders. You can let your tailbone touch the floor, right? Is that really your tailbone? Probably not. And pick up the hips. Try not to bridge, right? You're just lifting the hips enough so that you can slide and roll, and your feet should come along for the walk. Now, maybe you get to a certain point that it almost takes your breath away because something's a little bit out of whack, all right? Don't fight it. Hit the reset button. You're in a little bit of a pelvic tilt. Your heavy head is being supported by your strong arms. Before you get yourself rolled all the way back and your legs extended, you don't actually want to get to that point. You want to bring the feet back with you. And you hopefully will be able to go just to the point where the foam is under the shoulder blades. But if you go further, that's not necessarily a no-go zone. It's just not comfortable for the majority of people. But if you go further, right, you can roll yourself all the way to your QL. That's on you. All right, this is going to be your last one. Start with the hips resting on the ground and the foam at the top of the shoulders and supporting your neck. All right, pull the belly in a little bit, go into that pelvic tilt, barely lift the hips, and then start your pushback. Your head is supported, but yet your body is contouring over the foam. So your C curve, right, you're going to feel like your upper body's doing S and the lower body's in pelvic tilt. You don't want to be in excessive S. And this is your last one. Release, relax, push out of it. 2 versions of Cobra, modified Cobra. The first one, right? So I've got my Eric's pad handy. I'm going to bring it into the equation a little bit more. If you have a pillow close by, grab it. Some of you are going to be able to use your foam roller. Some of you are going to need the pillow as the second phase. All right. So phase 1, modified Cobra, is just you in elbow support propped position. Depending on how many days it's been since you've done any flexibility work, just propping yourself up like this on your belly may be kind of taxing for you posturally. All right. So let's allow the chest to just sink down to this slinky position, and then use your strong arms and prop yourself back up. Okay. Phase 2 Cobra get out of it, right? Bring your next accessory into the equation and set yourself back up for modified cobra. So now the rule applies where we want our elbow under our shoulder. We're going to allow the spine to just relax where your neck posture, because of what the shoulders are doing, you're not in good posture. And then I want you to feel yourself prop up, shoulders out of the ears, your elbows are under the shoulders, and the hands are turned palms up. Wiggle the hips a little bit so you feel everything is laying firm and solid and even from right to left side. So now what does this little pillow have to do with anything? You should be feeling a stronger sensation through the lumbar. And it's not actually lumbar, it's a little bit higher than lumbar. All right. So we're just incrementally trying to create more contour to the body, okay? This prop represents front body line extension, all right? So now, come out of it. Some of you are going to go, I'll try the next phase, and I want you to know that if the next phase is too much, you come back to the pillow. If your cushion or pillow seemed pretty intense, then you are not a candidate for the next phase. Stay put. But if you're like, I don't know, what could it feel like? Pull your foam roller into the equation. Me and this mat, I tell you. Okay. Same rule applies. Get it under you, and with the foam is less forgiving, all right? So elbows on it, pull the shoulders out of the ears. Maybe you have to work your body closer to the foam so that you feel like you're in a supported position. I have the foam touching my ribs. My elbows are shoulder width apart, right? I'm going to wiggle the hips. So as much forward bendability, it's called flexion. When we bent over and touched fingers to knees, shins, toes, knuckles grazing on the floor, that's forward flexion, okay? We want our spine to be bendable, not only in forward position, but back body bend. And this is where so many people struggle. I personally am finding that it's a lot of work just to hold myself up here. I do not feel like I'm hurting myself. I feel like my body, my shoulders are really having to work to create the support. And now, relax. Offset the legs because it's hard to get out of. If you're on your pillow, do the same thing. Relax, come out of it. That should feel pretty intense. All right. So pillow's coming down. I'm going to put my head on it. Get your body ready to have knee to chest tuck. Okay. So whatever you want to do with your foam roller, you're not done with your foam roller. It's just going to be the next thing. All right, the pillows for your head support. Come on down. Knee to chest. Stretch the other leg out. Don't get hung up. As soon as you get that one knee in and one leg out, switch them. And you're going to do this several times because it might take a few repetitions for you to figure out where you're most comfortable holding the tucked in leg. Do you need your hands behind the thigh because the knee is a little crabby, right? As you pull the leg into you, do you feel a biting sensation through the hip crease? Right. A couple more. So this client of mine who is also a chiropractor, he he's trying to figure out why my Tuesday morning class like doesn't have, 500 people in it. He's like, with all the people I know that need this kind of a workout, he's like, why doesn't anybody know about it? And I'm like, because it's the best kept secret on Indian Rocks Beach. And then we have a good laugh about it. But he's like, no, seriously. And I said, because I don't do anything to really promote it. There's no city website I can put it on. And I said, I would have to take an ad out in the paper to actually, post it. And I said, you're going to do a couple more. I said, my fear is when I started the class back, it was with the intention of knowing that Rich and I were going to go back out on the boat. And I wasn't certain how long I would actually be able to run the class. So I was like, I just really did a soft opening for the class, not trying to grow it. And I'm still not trying to grow it. Hold this leg, cross the body over into that gentle back stretch. I said, I haven't taken the mindset to grow the class because still the thought is alternating legs side to side, that this is going to be a class that when it's time for me to leave and go gallivant around, I said, the class is going to end. So it's hard for me to advertise something because when someone sees something, they never know. Like if someone shows up 3 months from now from an advertisement that they saw, right? Then it's like, I'm not holding class. So that has been my alternating sides. Remember, that has been my reasoning for why I don't promote this class. But he's so, you've got one more each side. He really wants to see this class grow. And so he says, well, how many people would you want in the class? And I said, frankly, this is your last one. A class like this, to have more than 15 people in a class like this roll out of it, I said, is really hard to do because it's so specific. And I said, I spend time walking around and making adjustments. And if I'm having to make adjustments to more than, 5 or 6 people within a particular movement, I said, then everybody's holding their position way too long, waiting for me to make the rounds of the adjustments. Okay. You're going into your bridge, and we're going to slide this little foam roller under the back body. So you're in bridge, put your foam roller. And though I just put my head back on my pillow, I know that when my body's in bridge mode, I don't need cushion. So now that your hips are being supported by your foam, take your pillow out from under your head. All right. So you want your foam below the waistline. And you're going to give me an alternating rocking leg. Start with both feet on the floor, feet hip width apart, right? Pull one leg up. When that leg gets to the top, stop for a second. Put yourself into C curve spine, all right? And now just that action of you fixing your mid-body position should now be giving you a nice gentle stretch across the front of the hip on the lower leg. Switch feet. One leg is up, pause, pelvic tilt into C curve. And can we draw your attention to one more thing that should have happened? As soon as you lowered your ribs and pelvic tilted, did you feel like the foot that is on the floor is now more firmly connected to the floor? And with that comes hamstring activation while we're getting hip flexor stretching. Let's try it again. Switch feet. Pause. Start at the ribs. Ribs slide down. Pelvic tilt. Push firmer foot position into the floor, squeezing the bun on that dairy leg, right? And switch. Last time. Leg is up. Pause. Hopefully you're staring at the ceiling, right? Chin is in a slightly tucked position, which gets your gaze going in the right direction. Start your pelvic tilt. Push the foot nice and firm into the ground. Wow. And release. Okay. Go back to leg number 1. This time, unless you need your hands to hold the foam in place, right? You're going to grab hold of your leg, draw it towards you, and let the other leg extend. And as it goes to extend, this is what you're doing. You're going to actually extend it so the foot isn't touching the floor, and then you're going to relax the knee, and you're going to extend and relax. The leg that you're extending is the released leg. The leg that you're holding to your body is in nice and tight, right? Hopefully, as you're holding this leg, your shoulders are out of the ears, everything feels comfortable, the back of your neck is neutral. So soften the knee, tighten the knee, soften the knee. And now as we tighten the knee up, flex the foot and then relax it. Tighten at the knee, flex the foot, and release. Do one more. Tighten, flex the foot, pause. Take that extended leg, pull it to you. Wow. Leg number 2. Just find your settled position for a moment. Get anchored around this leg that's close to you. Shoulders are out of the ears. The elbows are drawing in towards the hips. Your neck is neutral. Everything should feel really solid on your foam roller. No stress and comfortable. Okay, so here we go. Take the down leg. Flex at the knee. Wow. Tell me that is not just a dynamite stretch. And now soften. Flex it, release it. Flex it, release it. Flex. We're going to add on. This time, hold the flex, rock the foot to its flexed position. Soften the ankle, soften the knee. Tension at the knee, toes pulling towards you. And release. 2 more. Tension, full extension, and release. Last one. Knee engages, and then foot. And now pull the leg to you. All right, here's where you might feel like you need to put your hands on your foam roller again. But can you do a little bit of this rotation? All right, you're rolling right over your SI joints. It may be sensitive. If you don't need your hands gripping your foam, then remove the hands. You can go as far as your body permits you. And now the beauty of this foam, if you've got a nubby foam, you're probably not going to want to go very far with your roll from side to side, all right? And if your foam is short, then you're only going to be able to go so far, right? Your body will tell you, oh, well, that's too far, back out of it, that hurts too much, because the little nub, if you're working with a nubby foam, those actually push into the trigger points, right? They find it at a deeper capacity than the smooth foam. Come back to center, feet down. Now, you're not just going to lift your hips. You're going to draw your abs through to the spine, pelvic tilt, and then lift the hips and slide the foam out from under. And you should be feeling like your body's starting to warm up. Push yourself up. Phase 1. So phase 2, we're going to move into what's called primal movement pattern. Yikes. Don't mind me, I'm just done with my foam and I'm done with my jacket. Primal movement pattern. I'm not even going to use my mat because I don't want that to be, I don't need my mat as a boundary for my body anymore. So It is a Pilates based move that we're starting with, and it is to activate posterior chain, right? Anterior, posterior. So face down. I want your arms. If you take a moment just to witness first as you're getting yourself like prepared, your arms are going to be taking on, your body is going to be taking on the line of what the alphabet letter Y is. So think about that. Your body is the stem and your arms are the two angles of the Y. Okay, so primal movement pattern is opposite arm, it's opposite limb engagement. So with your face hovering right off the floor, with your arms in Y position, slide the shoulders down away from the ears without bending the arms, and then give me opposite arm to leg extension. The position of your hand is thumb up. Right? So here we go. Lift, release, lift, release. You are in pointed toe, which means that your toes and your fingers are as far away from each other as you can get them. And down. Lift and hold, squeeze the bun, hip bones are on the floor, the leg is fully extended, and release. Lift, down, lift, down, lift, down, lift. Say, oh, we just increased speed. We did. Now, take all four parts, lift them from the floor. Turn your palms towards the floor. Take right hand and left foot to the floor. And now switch, 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 switch. Faster now. Here you go. You're on your own. 10, 9, 8. Your legs are stiff. 6. Your neck is neutral. 4, 3, 2, and relax. Push up to full cobra. Slide down. Reach the arms forward. Pull the arms back, gliding the shoulders out of the ears. Your arms are going to set up like you're getting ready to do a push-up. The shoulders are out of the ears. The legs are straight. The buns are tight. Start pushing your trunk away from the floor. Bring the trunk down. The chest connects. Stare at the floor. Slide the arms forward. Slide the arms back, getting the shoulder blades to engage. Load the hands, the elbows. Push and down. Ready? Look at the floor. Slide the arms. Glide them back. Squeeze the buns. Push. Maybe you only get the initial push because the rest of it's too hard. And down. 2 more. Reach. Pull it back. Get the shoulders out of the ears. Drive up. And down. 1 more. Reach, slide, shoulders up to knees, walk it back, roll it back, slow up. Now you need your chair. Next phase. So your next phase is going to just incorporate some things that we used to do a long time ago, but we haven't done them for a while. So whether it's your chair, your sofa, your counter, or a wall, it's just something that's going to allow you fingertip support, right? And this is part of what's considered a dynamic warm-up for the hips, right? Internal and external rotation. The leg that I'm standing on is pointed straight ahead, right? Shoulders out of the ears. Okay. Sometimes when I watch people do this, whether they're at the court warming up or they're in the gym or they're getting ready for a run, don't stop. I'm going to show you. They stand too far away from their support base and they kind of look like this, all right? We want to be a little more uprighted. 5, 4, 3, 2. And now this leg is going to go back, and it's going to be perpendicular to the front leg. Stretch. But you're not going to stay here. That's just one little stretch. Do you feel a massive pull through the hip? Square up to me. Changing directions for movement number 2. All right, you guys are used to this one. We just haven't done it for a while. So the arm is a nice full elbow extension. The leg tracks back to a tiptoe point. And as it tracks back to the tiptoe point, you get to reactivate the knee extension to get the quad to fire up. So pull, tap and squeeze, lift, push back, tap and squeeze. This other side is kind of a brace for you, right? Push, one more. On the push back, drive the heel to the floor, the front leg bends, tip, step and close. Ready? This outside leg strides back in a pigeon-toed foot position. Load the toe, bend the front leg, load the heel, and tip for side body and IT band. Close it. Stride, internal rotation, heel to floor, stretch, right? Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Release and relax. 3 moves to the other side. Ready? Here we go. Figure out your position. You only need to be enough space so that your knee isn't knocking into your support base. You're drawing a little, I call it a smiley face, right? So the knee up, down, the hip swivels, lift the knee again. Down, up, down, up. Here we go. Now it's fluid. Stand up tall. 3, 4, 5. Your leg is plenty of resistance for this. 7, right? 8. You're working your hip flexor. Say, why do I want to work it? I thought we're supposed to make it flexible. And now take the leg, turn it. It's going to be perpendicular to the front leg. Push. Release. Square up. Ready? Pull the knee, stretch the leg, tap the toe, full extension. Lift, stretch, tap, squeeze. Lift, stretch, tap, squeeze. Up. That's 3. If you don't need this other arm, don't use it. Push. 5. You can use it to pull against for that nice long stretch. There's 7. Go till you get the full extension. 8, 9, you've got one more movement. So here's 10, and we're doing 5 of the next one. Take the rear foot, push it to the floor, bend the front leg, tilt towards your support base, close the step. Stride with an internal foot turn, load the heel, tilt the body. Your front knee is soft. Close it. Stretch. Release. Inhale. 2 more. Push. 1 more. And relax. Release and relax. You're done. Peggy, have a great game. Be careful out there. The rest of you, we're moving into a little bit more progressed side body stretch. So you are going to interlace your fingers, okay? Release your thumbs and crisscross, release your index and crisscross your thumbs. Pull your arms up, wiggle the shoulders around because you're trying to take your bicep and squeeze your ear. All right, so side edges of the big toes are touching. The arms are reaching, your fingertips, right? The index fingers are in point, and your biceps are actually trying to squeeze your ears. And this is not about how far we're able to get our upper body to tilt. This is about, can you push your hips to the side, right? So the hips slide and the upper body naturally just goes away from the hips. Now, slide the hip. This stretch should be an eye opener. You might feel, don't release, but you might feel like you are so tight across the hip crest. That would not be a surprise to me. Okay, come up, tip. Okay, because there's a little bit more to add here. Belly to spine. The bottom hand, the heel of that hand is going to push against the heel of the high arm, and that's what creates a deeper stretch. Ready? Come up and inhale. Float the hips to the side, take the bottom hand, push it up into the top hand, belly to spine. Release, relax. Wow. If you do not have the 3-foot foam roller, then I want you to grab your stretch out strap. I'm going to do a couple with the stretch out strap just to show you. Maybe it's that your broomstick is what's readily available to you. Okay. The foam roller, the long foam roller is 3 feet. This is like a perfect width for the arms. So with your stretch out strap, you're holding it just to create tension. All right. So we don't want there to be any slack in whatever it is you've got hold of. And now this is part of your shoulder flexibility. You are going to pull to the front, aiming for the clavicles. You have to get your head and your chin out of your way so that you don't smack yourself in the nose. The arms go up, pull them back, and glide down. So after I do one more to the front, I'm going to transition to my foam roller. Okay. And then I'm going to turn around and show you something. So if you're using your strap and you want to use your strap, keep using it. But if you're using your foam roller, then your fingers obviously are, just contouring to the end. Okay. So say you get your object up. This is not about you just bending the arms. It's about you sliding your shoulder blades down, right? Push it up, slide the shoulder blades down, and then bend the arms, right? Up, pull it back, up. So often we have a limitation when we try to pull things behind our head. If your head has to tip forward for you to get this thing behind you, then you're a better candidate for not doing any behind the head things and just stay with the ones that are in front of your body. All right. So give me 5 more. Pull, push it up, release, belly to spine, up, pull back, squeeze everything, up. 1 more, pick your position, right? And release. Foam is down. You could go back to your chair or your wall. So think tree pose. Okay. Where do you want your foot to be? Where your foot is, depending on how much support you give yourself, right? You have to decide which part of the movement are you wanting to really work. Are you wanting to see how good your hips are functioning, or are you wanting to give yourself enough balance so that you don't feel unsteady? In your lowest progressive position, it would be big toe touching the floor right next to your ankle. That would be the start. You can still keep fingertip support. And now with my foot really low, the objective is for you to imagine that you have a helper that's gently trying to cope coax your bent leg into open position. So why don't we all regress down to this level where your toe is touching the floor and you're trying to peel your knees away from each other. And when you do that, I then want the last bit of this is for you to pelvic tilt, draw the abs in, glide the shoulders down, and you're going to keep trying to pelvic tilt deeper. Two things should be happening. Really important stretch right here and really important sensation under the crease line of your bun. Now go back to hand support, slide the foot up a little bit higher. So now you're going to encourage this and then sweep it open, stop, root the body line into the curled under buns, ribs, shoulders, navel. Sweep the knee forward, open it back, tilt, go a little higher with your foot. Oh, does it get stuck? I can get my foot higher, but not unassisted. It's the strangest thing to me, but I can assist, right? So if you are like me and you literally cannot glide your leg up, but yet you can put a hand on it and pull it up, then let's go there. All right. So you find the level of, do you want to hold your foot or can you anchor it, right? And be here. Somewhere between toe on the floor and high is where I want you. In the high position, you are not going to float the knee in. You're going to just try to brace and keep squeezing. And now if you still need fingertip support, that's fine. Put the other hand right in front of you. And you're going to try to take this arm, close it down, right? As if the two were meeting, right? But yet the two don't meet here. They have a little bit of a flare. So if you don't need both hands, right, stabilizing you, then you're in little bit of prayer pose, holding for 5, 4, keep squeezing this bun, 3, 2, assist out of it, walk around, right? The interesting thing about the leg that is your anchor, your tree, is that leg gets into full knee extension, and maybe that's the only time it got there today, right? So if you come out of a pose and you're like, whew, are my knees okay? That would not be an uncommon sensation, all right? So you're starting at the basics. The leg you stand on, directly forward, tiptoe to the floor, slide that foot right up into the ankle. Okay, ready? Just start settling in. How much movement is your body creating? Is your knee, and then the ankle, is your body like, having little spaz attack here? Ground yourself, shoulders, navel, ribs, pelvic tilt, right? Hand on or off. Slide the foot a little higher. Work the knee in, open it out. Try to then feel like both knees are twisting away from each other, because if you just focus on the one leg pushing back, you won't get the true sensation of this leg twisting and you activating deeply enough. Sweep it in, open it up, pause, take the down leg, try to move the kneecap, twist them away from each other, It's crazy, right? You can control so much more than you think. And now, are you here or are you back down there? Or are you grabbing your foot, giving yourself assist just to feel what it is to pull up, even if you can't get your foot to then close in to the thigh. But if you can, right, I like to bend my stance leg just to get the parts, right? Is the binding in your knee on the bent leg? What's going on, right? You have to figure out what is the best position for your body. And maybe you can't let go of this foot. One side of me does this so much better than the other side. But what I do know is that when I get this stance side doing what it's supposed to do, then this other side does its job better too. All right, so here we go. Belly to spine, right? Can you put your arm in front of you? When I let go of this leg, it might just drop out of it. This slidey tights don't really help, right? Here we go. Finding your position, belly to spine, full on pelvic tilt, knees are pushing open from one another, holding 5, 4, 3, 2, come out of it with some smooth control. All right, walk around. Are your parts okay? All right, grab a little drink. You're done with your foam roller. You're done with your pillow. We are going to put our chair into the equation for our last little bit of stretching. Okay. I should have asked if there was anything in particular anybody wanted to really stretch. So I'm hoping I'm picking all the right things. Okay. This is just to get us seated, a little bit more comfortable, since the standing movements were quite challenging. Think about your wrists, okay? So we're gonna do 2 things for them. We normally do this standing. Fold the fingers into you, let the back of the hand find the side body. And now you can push wherever you feel is the most comfortable spot for your hand to slide, right? So if you come too much to the front, you won't get that stretch across the wrist. There's a fine line where you want to make sure that it's not just pushing against the knuckles. We want the full backside of that hand to have pressure to it so that the wrist stretches. Shoulders out of the ears, right? As you're pushing your arms into the body, if you're not careful about each detail, then your shoulders will do this. The elbows will kind of pull forward and the neck will disappear. So we want to glide the shoulders down, right? Push the elbows and shoulder blades back a little bit while we're driving our hands into our body. Oh, by the way, pull your pinky and thumb apart from each other. Holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, release. Okay, ready? Take one arm, push it forward, drop the fingertips down. The arm number 2 comes up from the bottom side. Give a gentle pull, and then let's lower the hand. Right? So now that we get the arm pulling down, let's fix the shoulder. I'm exaggerating what your shoulder might be doing on this extended arm side. Pull it down and then draw your chin to your chest. Wow. That right there should feel like a really good stretch through the neck and the traps. And then without releasing the hand, right? Gently guide the jaw up. Re-engage mind to shoulders out of the ears. And now bring your head to neutral. Release the arm. If when you floated your chin up, if you feel like you're getting a pinch in a bad way along the back of the neck, it is because you haven't created space. All right. So arm number 2, reach it out, push the fingers down, hand pulls it back, right? Maybe your arm does something really funky, right? This is all part of your elbow, like the extension, the condition of the bicep length in your forearm. So it's going to be awkward to hold your fingers, get your shoulder out of your ears. Maybe you have to separate your legs because you need a little more space. All right. So pull down, take your jaw, shoulders out of the ears. We're going up with the jaw first. Right. And now take your head gently down. Let your body relax, release, relax. Free to roam. Job well done, you guys. Happy Monday to you. And just stay tuned for the update as to whether or not we have class on Wednesday.